What's going on, everybody? It's Breaking Back, and thank you for joining me on day something or another of me finishing and repainting my kitchen table. As you can see, I do have the trim done, and yes, I remember it's called trim now. I've got it painted, and I've taken all the tape off and basically taped off the trim now so I can paint the bottom of the table surface. And you can see I has some bleed through. But I taped it to where the black will paint over it. And then obviously, this was going to get painted over anyways. But here is the color I'm going to be using. Like I said, black, flat black. So I'm going to go ahead and get the bottom of this painted. And while that's drying, I'll go ahead and polyurethane the legs finally. And kind of juggle back and forth. It is a minimum day, so I'm picking up my kids an hour early. Actually, my mother-in-law is picking up my daughter. So I'm picking up my son an hour early. And I'm going to try and figure out how to get all this done. As usual, I probably won't get as much done as I'm planning. I had to put the bikes back on the side of the house. It rained a little bit this morning, but it hasn't in a couple hours. And it's not supposed to until nighttime. So fingers crossed. Sheesh. I'm going to need a few layers for that top because you can see that primer shining through pretty dang well, although that's only one layer, or one coat rather. Man, you can just see how terrible I am at painting. Look at all those different directions for those brush strokes. Oh well, this will be good practice for the surface. I do want the surface to look nice, so I'm gonna sand it and coat it however many times I need to. This side I'm not too worried about. You're not gonna see it unless you go under the table, which only my kids do, so they're gonna have to suffer, I guess. But that's the update. I'm gonna start getting the legs polyurethaned, and I'll get back in a minute, or probably 30. So the second coat is drying, as you can see. Once this is dry, I'm going to take the tape off, and then I'll get a couple coats of polyurethane on. I should be able to finish that before bedtime. I just finished the second coat on the legs. So by morning, I should be able to flip it, paint it, coat it, and throw the legs on by dinner time. Fingers crossed. And big emphasis on should. I guess you'll find out when this video clips back in. I did buy a roller when I got all this stuff because I wasn't sure which would work better. And I'm gathering that paintbrushes put more down at once, but maybe leave more sanding in the end. And then the roller seems to do a better job of being nice and flat, but a lot thinner coats. And I got a firm or dense whatever roller, so it wasn't all spongy and whatnot. So I think I'm gonna need a few coats, but I also think it's gonna leave me with less sanding and a better finish. So that's the update. Hopefully I get all those coats done by tonight. And then I can get the polyurethane on early in the morning and hopefully have the table ready for breakfast. That's the plan, but if you've been following along, none of my plans have panned out, so stay tuned. Day 7, I'm pretty sure, because I think I started this on a Friday, and it is now Friday. And I put a couple layers of paint on here, and I just took some sandpaper to it and hit any high spots. I had a couple mounds of primer that was causing my paint to mound up, and those are all flat now. Guessing this will need a couple more coats. I'm working on my roller technique. I think I've got it down now. So hopefully these last couple coats will look good enough to where I won't feel like sanding them down again. Stay tuned. All right, I think this is going somewhere in the middle. No, actually, probably the end of the video. This will be, I believe, my third video on making the table, which, by the way, is finally complete. There it is. There's our ugly chairs that I'm gonna work on next. And luckily for me, that involves buying covers that cover the whole thing. That way, none of it's visible. And that'll be easy, because this thing kicked my butt. And unfortunately, I'm at the point where the IV or the biologic I was on that was working is finally out of my system. I think we had to switch because it was making me all itchy and getting rashes and these little mosquito looking bug bite bumps, especially like when I get hot or at nighttime. It was really rough. So they switched me, and I've had 2 of the new ones so far, but it takes a while for them to kick in. But yeah, unfortunately, the other one's probably out of my system because all that pain and more is back. I'm just glad to be done with this. I'm beat. But right now, I am bagging up. I just finished bagging up all of our chicken, all of our ground beef. Next I've got to cut up a pork loin into chops and butts and get that bagged up. We like to buy the meat in bulk when we can. I mean, it's cheaper per pound by that, or when you do it that way. And then you just bag it up and freeze it. As long as it's vacuum sealed, it doesn't get freezer burn, or at least I've never had anything in there long enough to get freezer burn. If only I could afford a quarter cow or a half cow, huh? But anyways, I'm gonna finish up that. I think this is the end of the table series. So just want to say thank you for joining me. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope it gets even better from here on out. I'll see you next time.